So without further ado, let me start. Again, hello everyone, and thanks for joining Legaltech Online Startup Challenge. This is Kaan, founder of Hackquarters, and this is our second year that we are actually doing this event. I'm quite happy because this year, with everything happening, we managed to do it online, and it gave us more exposure than ever. And we have a lot of people who are interested in the event, and it is going to be a nice event, so I can assure you for that. As I mentioned, I founded Hackquarters roughly 5 years ago. Basically, we are trying to find great startups, great potential startups, and bring good connections with our partners such as Baker McKinsey. And for this event, we are also quite happy that we reached out to a lot of different countries and brought great people. Unfortunately, we only have 10 of the companies today with us, but it is really nice to see a lot of great companies doing machine learning, AI, regulation tech, government tech, and legal tech, of course. And I'm hoping that it will be a really, really good event. So let me just talk about what we are going to do today. I will introduce our partners after me, and they will have their opening speeches as well. Then we have two distinguished guests, Ben and Amir, and they will talk about artificial intelligence in law and legal practice, which is a quite interesting topic. For questions and answers, as I mentioned before, you can use chat or Q&A parts of the Zoom. So basically, you can write over there, and Ben and Amir will be seeing your questions. After the session, we will continue with the startup pitches. There will be 10 startups, roughly 5 minutes each. After we have the pitches, we will have a Q&A session. So for that, you can also write your questions in the chat because all of our founders are here. They can write the responses right away. You don't need to wait. Then we will have Daniel, and he will talk about Reinvent program. He's a great guy. We had him last year as well. Really interesting things on their side. And we will have our last panel with Eli, Günce, and Benjamin. And we will talk about legal innovation, and we will have different approaches from corporate side and also legal side. Then we will close with the winners. Again, I mentioned to a few of the people, I don't really like to call winners. Honestly, why we are doing these programs are to give your good work and exposure and hopefully kick them off a little bit to get more, let's say, clients or investors to be interested in your products. And as Hackquarters, we will try to do that even after the event. And nearly everything will be sent back to you after the event passes away. So when we are looking for legal tech space, it is a little bit old, CB Insights. I'm sure that they are going to release the new one, but we've seen a maturity happening on legal tech space, even if it sounds like a new domain. As you will see with our founders, there are great things happening in this domain, and we will see a lot of larger investments happening. Now we have like GDPR and those kind of regulations happening in different parts of the world. So we need to keep up with those changes. And for this program, we roughly had 168 applications, which is great. And those applications came from different backgrounds. And 80 of the startups, like half of them already raised money, and like 10% of them already raised good amount of money, and they are in great stages. Hopefully, we can help them scale up even further. We had a few different topics in this program. We had, of course, legal tech as an umbrella, but we had some fintech because of the regulations happen in fintech quite a lot. Then we have AI, machine learning, and consulting tech to help our friends in legal space to work even better. And as I mentioned, the applications came from quite different various backgrounds. So we had 47 different countries applied, and you will see different countries today will also be presented. This program is now in its second year, and including the first year, now we have like 260 startups roughly. And we had our last year's finalists. Maybe you've seen them or their pitches or their videos, and TechSign ve Logien e-Mahkeme. The idea of this program to give those startups a better understanding from the legal perspective. So Baker McKenzie, Esin, and Reinvent brands are quite good for that. They can give you exposure, global background, or any kind of support that you can have. Unfortunately, this year we cannot go to TechCrunch or Web Summit, and everything is being online. So we will see what we can do with that. But last year, at least we had a Germany trip, which helped our top 2 startups quite a lot. This year, we will have 10 startups, and you can see the logos, and you will also receive their information from your chat. And also, I will try to send you other startups who are not pitching today, but maybe as a person, as an investor, you would be interested to find what they are doing. We had quite a big jury, and maybe a few of you already seen in the panelist section over there. Ben will be joining us in fireside chat. Daniel will also do a keynote. I'm going to introduce Eren Bey just in a few minutes. Günce Hanım from ING Bank will be with us. Amir is here and from Spark Beyond, and he will talk about in the fireside chat. David is not going to have a stage presence, but he was one of our juries. Eli from Esin, Turkish office of Baker, will be us in the final fireside chat. And I will introduce Yonatan. He is the one of the owners of this project and quite good friend of ours in startup domain. So without further ado, I might ask Eren Bey to turn off his video and microphone, and I will stop the screen share. Welcome, Eren Bey. I will give you the stage to you.
Hi, everyone.
And you are on stage.
Hi, everyone. This is Eren Kurşun. I'm heading the M&A department of Esin Attorney Partnership. Welcome all. Our friends at Hackquarters and Yoni asked me to deliver an opening speech, but I won't. I will just say one thing. A few months ago, I represented a company, and that representation turned out to be one of the proudest experiences of my life. The company is called Peak Games. I'm sure most of you heard of it. I just wish, hope, and pray that everybody here experiences something similar or even better in the future. I promised you I wouldn't deliver an opening speech, and that's because I actually think the speech should be delivered by someone who deserves credit for this event, and that's certainly not me. It would be Yoni, who is the one who really deserves credit for this. So I hand it over to you, Yoni. Good luck, everyone, and welcome all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and hopefully we will have more Peak Games. So Yoni, just let me show your screen anyways. You are already here, and I will also leave the stage to you as well.
Thank you.
Let me just
Thank you, Eren. Thank you for your nice introduction. Good afternoon to everyone. I'm Yoni. I'm the BD Director of Esin Attorney Partnership. And it's my privilege and pleasure on behalf of Esin Attorney Partnership to welcome you all again in our second annual LegalTech Startup Challenge. Before we get started, I would like to express my gratitude to all of our team, Baker McKenzie, Reinvent, and Hackquarters, who so generously helped us to organize this event, and we couldn't have done it without you. We are very excited to host the second edition of the LegalTech Startup Challenge. The silver lining in all this is the COVID-19 circumstances led us to innovate the event itself as a virtual one, to include the EMEA region. As just Kaan explained, we reach almost 170 applications from 47 countries. Today, we will feature great pitches from 10 prominent legal tech startups and listen some thought-provoking keynotes on future of law. So what has happened since our first challenge? I believe a nice track record is developing. For example, TechSign, the winner of 2019 challenge attended a 3-day program in the Reinvent Legal Innovation Hub in Frankfurt. And they had the chance to work with Baker McKenzie teams. And then the Verulogy, the second place winner, participated in TechCrunch Berlin event. And I believe it was a great experience and opportunity for the whole Verulogy team. We are certain there will be amazing success stories out of this year's challenge as well. In a world where technology has been disrupting every aspect of our lives, even the conventional law world is undergoing a transformation. Having said this, being a lawyer in the future will not only require a deep knowledge and wisdom of law, the future lawyer also needs a good understanding of technology and how to combine this know-how to provide an excellent service to clients. And when you think of legal tech, of course, the first thing that comes to mind is technology related to law and most likely law firms. But in a broader context, a lot more areas can be included in legal tech. The terms legal tech can be defined as the application of advanced technologies, such as artificial intelligence, that we will listen to some of great examples today, machine learning and blockchain technologies into the legal process. And we are committed to reshaping law by finding and funding the most innovative solution in the legal sector. And of course, inspiring new generation of lawyers and entrepreneurs to think far beyond of technology of the tomorrow. I sincerely hope you enjoyed today and thank you for your participation and may the best startup win. Thank you.
Thank you, Yoni. Thank you for being with us. And as you know, as Hackquarters, we love people like you, all Baker McKenzie team, Esin team, because making a startup is quite tough business anyway, because you've been doing that quite a long time, not just in this legal tech domain, but you are helping startups everywhere. So I hope that this program can help people to learn something, meet with people that would be a nice coincidence in the near future. So maybe now I can ask Ben and Amir to join us. Hi, Ben. Hi, Amir. So I will give the stage on to you, and you will talk about artificial intelligence in law and legal practices, which is a quite interesting topic because as like in healthcare, it is kind of a question mark. And I'm personally, as an attendee, I'm looking forward to learn what's happening in that domain.
Fantastic, and thank you for everyone who's been involved in organizing this event. I'm going to chat with Amir Haramaty, who's a great partner of mine personally and Baker McKenzie more generally, about some of our thoughts around not only AI in law, but the startup journey and what we can learn from it, and also the practical challenges of being a startup trying to sell an innovative product into an industry like the law. And so a big 2 seconds about myself. So I'm a technology lawyer with an AI background, a legal AI background, not a technical one. But at Baker's, I head reInvent, which is our innovation umbrella that pulls together all our attempts to not only improve legal service delivery, but also to evolve it, using some of the technologies that lots of our contestants today are developing. And I'm joined today by Amir, who's the Chief Commercial Officer at a, well, actually, I'm going to ask you whether you still call yourself a startup, Amir, but at a startup called Spark Beyond, who we have recently announced we are partnering with to explore precisely the topic. How do you effectively bring advanced machine learning and AI into legal practice? But Amir, I might ask you to just introduce yourself briefly rather than me do it, and we'll come to Spark Beyond afterwards. But tell us a little bit about your startup journey and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. Thank you. Great to be here. And as you can tell, I'm no longer in the mountains. I'm actually at the sea, which I'm at a client. I'm back on business trip and back on travel. I'm actually in Dubai right now. So what you see in the back, it's not virtual. It's actually the Persian Gulf. But glad to be here. And before introducing myself, you asked a great question about are we still consider ourselves a startup? And I'll tell you a funny story. About 2 years ago, I was invited to speak to the board of Levi Strauss. And I came inside in San Francisco and I spoke about artificial intelligence. And before I started, one of the executives, a senior guy, came over and said, "You're going to speak about what?" I say, "About artificial intelligence." And he said, you know, how old are we as Levi Strauss? I said, sorry, I have no idea. I think it was like 155-year-old or something like that, slightly older than me. And he said, I'm not sure we can spell the words artificial intelligence over here. I said, that's okay. I love it this way. And along the time, I became very close to Chip Berg, the legendary, in my mind, CEO of Levi Strauss. And I was invited to give a keynote on their global event. And when he introduced me on stage, he talk about me, and then he says, so Amir, I'd like to tell you, we are a 155-year-old startup company. And I love that because startup has nothing to do with age or size. It's a mindset. It's a mindset, and that's the most important part. And for me, everybody, including myself, always like to talk about success. I rather talk about my failures because I think it's as important, if not more so. So I failed many times, and I failed hard, and I crashed. And it took me a while, but I started to learn the lesson, and it was so painful that I knew I want to avoid the next time because I don't want to go to that dentist, to that root canal without anesthesia again. It's quite painful. But after I've done many things wrong, I started to do a few things right. And like many good things, you know, when it rains, it pours. And I had a pretty good back to back, now 4, now this is the 5th, great companies I was associated with. And all 4 went through an incredible technological journey, solving different problems. And all 4 actually went through significant exits. One was to Singtel from Singapore for significant amount. Second was to Facebook. Third was to Microsoft. And fourth, recently to Insight Ventures. And while I'm really proud about what we have done and how we did, and each one of them was slightly different, and we learned many lessons along the way. The most maybe impactful story I want to share, I grew up as a kid in a kibbutz in Israel, which is the most socialistic environment you can ever think about. And when you grow up in a kibbutz, you can be smart or you can be stupid. It's absolutely okay. You can be good looking or ugly. That's absolutely okay. 2 things you cannot be tagged as, either as selfish or lazy. That's the 2 worst. If somebody will tag you as a lazy or selfish, you're doomed. And we just completed the first exit that was to Singtel from Singapore. And I pride myself in my ability to fall asleep on a dime. I can sleep anywhere, anytime. And I cannot sleep. I'm in a hotel in Singapore and I cannot sleep. I'm not a big drinker, but I thought maybe going down to the bar and maybe have a drink or 2 will help me fall asleep. And I'm going down to the bar and I'm meeting a very nice French lady, an executive in one of the largest tech companies in France. We're talking about 45 minutes. I'm having 2 glasses of wine and I'm ready. So I say, I enjoyed very much. I'm going up to my room and she said, may I say something before you go? I said, please. So you are a very selfish man. And I feel like somebody just punched me at the gut. Like, and I said, like, you have no idea about my background, but you cannot insult me anymore by saying that I'm selfish. How can you say such things? I said, no, you're missing the point. I said, apparently so. So you sat with me for 45 minutes and you share with me some of your experience. If you don't share that experience with other entrepreneurs, that will make you very selfish. You have to make sure, and you know what? I could not fall asleep again, not because of the excitement, because that, what she gave me, that great lesson, stay with me for a long time. So one thing I want to say up front, and sorry, Ben, for giving you a long answer to a short question, is I'm really happy to be here today. And I know there are some entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs on the call. And my contribution, I hope it will go beyond my ability to speak or give some, feel free to reach out to me. If I can help you avoid some of the mistakes I did and we did, I'll be a very rich man. So I'm at your disposal and I'm always available to help to any entrepreneur at any given time. It's very easy to reach out to me. And I'm a man on a mission, and that's what I'm trying to share.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, a very generous offer of you. So thank you for that. And, you know, I do encourage the entrepreneurs on this call to take that offer up, because I've learned a lot from, you know, my association with Amir over the last 12 months as well. So Amir, let's just turn to Spark Beyond. Perhaps just, you know, the brief elevator pitch. What is Spark Beyond? What are you doing? And then, you know, then we'll come to the law and Bakers and the partnership that we're going for. But what's the core product and what's the mission of the company?
Absolutely. So again, I always joke that A and I are arguably the most used and abused letters in English language at present time. Everything is AI. And there are a lot of great AI companies and technologies that you can take in many different directions. What we elected to do is really apply AI for problem solving. And in order to solve the problem, you know, conventional wisdom will say that you need to have the answer. But we believe that in order to get the right answer, guess what? You must first ask the right question. And while the human brain is arguably the best tool, unfortunately, the human brain has few limitations, even if you're a smart lawyer. And at the end of the day, human brain has low dimensionality, which means there's so much we can see and so much we can process, and it's fairly limited, while the amount of data around us is growing exponentially. And second is what we call the cognitive bias, or the cognitive bottleneck. Nietzsche said it beautifully. We always ask the questions where we're in a position to find answers, which is so true. So what we decided to do is to go on a moonshot experiment and actually automate the creativity part, the ideation machine, that rather than the human brain can come up with 5 or 10 or 50 or 100 ideas, the engine can come up with 4 million ideas per minute and go in brute force. And again, we're speaking to lawyers or law firms. It's very important to do so not as a black box, but actually as an evidence-based glass box. So everything we do is supported by evidence, so the domain expert can make a decision on how to do it. Then when you speak about data, many organizations will say that they don't trust their own data because it's imperfect or incomplete. Data scientists will say, rightly so, that more than 80% of their time spent on cleaning data versus working with the data. And we actually say, you know what, please do not perfect the data, Mr. Client or Miss Client. Your data as is, even if it's imperfect or incomplete, it's much more valuable than you think. However, it provides just a small part of a much bigger picture. So the next thing we have done, we harness humanity's collective intelligence. We connected to news and weather and Wikipedia and OpenStreetMap and Federal Reserve data and census data and social media and you name it. So now we found ourselves sitting on a generic engine that can take almost any type of data, tabular, relational, text, graph, time series, video, audio, structure, unstructured, generate the millions of hypotheses or ideas, augment it with external data sources, and then serve to the decision maker some features, discoveries, predictive models, or prescriptive optimizing models. So actually we overcame the limitation of the human brain, understanding the limitation of dimensionality and the cognitive bottleneck or cognitive bias, automate the creativity using internal data and external data. And the most important part, it's a dynamic, living, breathing machine that keeps everything evergreen.
So I think you've sort of articulated why we as Baker McKenzie, but as lawyers, are interested in machine learning, because you pulled out a few of the pieces that certainly on our journey looking for technologies have become challenges for us. You know, you talked about failure. Well, you know, we've tried and failed with machine learning in the law over the recent years. And like all law firms, we are using it in very application-specific circumstances. M&A due diligence is a good example, or some compliance investigations. There are some really clever tech, both startup and established providers in that space. But the more general application of machine learning techniques and modeling and technology hasn't really reached maturity in the legal sector so far. And one of the issues is the data piece that you talked about. Law firms have data, and I know you've now seen our data. You're under NDA. I just remind you about that, of telling people whether it's good or bad. But
it's better than you thought.
That is true. So we can disclose that. One of the things we've learned in our partnership with Beyond is actually our data is better than we thought it was, which is actually a really key learning for us. But there's an obvious interest in the knowledge industries more generally and law about how do you take some of that creative space, because you obviously want to do more. There's more competition from technology. The technology is more able than it has been in the past. And there are cost pressures as well in the market that say, well, how can you speed up, enhance, improve the quality and the speed and the efficiency of what lawyers do? But why is Spark Beyond interested in the law?
No, this is incredible, because I love, by the way, Ben, when we, after we completed dating and we got married, the way you phrase it, the way you put it on the invitation, okay? When you send out the wedding invitation, they say, reimagine law, reimagine legal. And that's a key component here of imagination in general, reimagining. And that's really what we love. I'll give you an example from different areas, and then I'll touch legal. We work with some of the largest insurance companies in the world. And right before COVID, I got a phone call from one of the largest providers, and they said, Amir, I'd like to share with you some great news. We, that very large logo, just issued a term life insurance to a 72-year-old person. I don't know about you guys, you're probably young, but once you cross your 50s, it starts to be pretty challenging to get a lifetime insurance, because they're working with some outdated conventional wisdom models that, number one, never been really validated You just, the chief actuary is second to God, sometimes first to God, and whatever you say, that's what you follow. And then if you look at it from a different angle altogether, all of a sudden you realize life expectancy is moving up. The ecosystem is not ready to support it. And not only it's the right thing to do, is actually great business as well. And I love the quote that I got from the CEO and say, Amir, congratulations, you empowered us to insure the uninsurable. And I love that part because Ben, you know very well that for us, it's not just about business impact. We had a great call the other week about social impact we're going to do together. And this is something that we challenge our partners to do more than just impact. For the audience, just to give you a sense, we are serving right now, we're helping a specific country in Western Europe to identify some early drivers for teenager suicide, especially now when kids cannot go to school, your interactions are very limited. How can you find it before it's too late? Or helping to fight or discover some early learning disabilities in very early stage in Australia, or working with large organizations called Speckle in Australia to bank the unbankable. Now, for us, we believe, again, that the legal system is really the operating system of society. And in our mind, we are not lawyers, it's completely outdated. At the same time, it's data rich, and it's gonna, at least from a very narrow, subjective, and maybe naive point of view, this is a great platform not only to help Becker, McKinsey, not only to help the legal, but also to correct wrongs and places where bias is there. And there's no better time if you talk about social equality, if you talk about gender, you talk about many different areas that now, if you can remove all the biases and do it on the merit of the evidence and use data that was never able before and crunch it in a way that makes sense, how can you insure somebody which is a 72-year-old person? Or how can you look at data in a different way? So for me, I love bumping into new industries. Yesterday was a big announcement that we partner with a massive player in a commercial real estate space. Now we're reinventing commercial real estate. So we keep bumping into these areas that were completely, and commercial real estate is the single largest assets class in the world, 200 trillion with a T. That was sitting there waiting for disruption. So yes, I'm not just a serial entrepreneur, we're trying to be serial disruptors.
Well, just don't disrupt us too quickly. We need to be able to cope with the disruption when it comes. But Amir, we've only got a couple minutes left, so I just want to focus on two things. So one is lots of our challenges. You and I both, read the materials beforehand. We're looking forward to seeing their pictures. But I focused on the sort of small law firm space, the SME space. You've been dealing with a large law firm. So I wonder whether you could share, one or two challenges of dealing with a big enterprise, whether it's as a startup, whether it's law, or whether it's from your insurance background. And then I'm going to leave you with your last comment, which is, can you give us sort of your top 3 tips for startups as they grow their businesses?
Oh, you caught me off guard. Now I have to think. Two things. One, again, maybe you need to plug your ears for a second because that's where we started. One of the things I learned is I do appreciate and value the innovation component or innovation sides of organization. But at the end of the day, especially now, during COVID or post-COVID, the world is separated between nice to have versus must have. And it's very clear in which port you want to be. You don't want to be in a nice to have, because nice to have, let's talk in 2 years' time. So first, make sure you're in a must have. So that's one part. The second part is, if you can avoid or if you can bypass just innovation, because when you work with innovation, many large organizations, it's a double sell. You have to convince innovation, and then you need to find a landing point within the organization. I will follow the pain. I call it the pain trail. Find where is the biggest pain for the organization. And if we have a technology that can address that pain, there's a reason why you go to ER, they don't deal with cosmetic surgeries. In ER, they stop the bleeding. In ER, they're doing some resuscitation, etc. So the key there is to be able to make sure you're on the side of the must-have, understand the pain, and follow that pain trail to, if you can solve painful problems relatively quickly and efficient way, especially today, people will listen. And going back again to the 3 comments, or 3, I don't know if I can give 3, and I've been asked to write a book, which I may consider if I can, continue not to travel. In normal days, I travel 3 out of 4 weeks. But a few things here. One is, I touched it already, the importance of failure. I gave a speech, McKinsey Management Consulting, which is a great part of us, asked me to give a speech in Poland. And I gave the speech in Poland. And toward the end, somebody raised his hand and he said, listen, Amir, are you from Israel? I said, yeah, guilty as charged. And I say, we read the book, there's a great book called Startup Nation. And we know that the total exits from Israel on an annual basis is about $10 billion company. How come we don't have such thing here in Poland? And I say, I'm not a Polish expert, but if I can judge from a distance, culturally, failure is not an option here. And many people nod their head, like agree with me. And I say, I could not agree with you more. Failure should not be an option. Failure must be mandatory. So the key there is to fail. It's so important. Second is, am I? If you're going to aim on a mediocre or mid-level goal, you're going to get it. So what? Everything we do is either we're going to get it or so-called die trying. I love to work on moonshot problems that we're doing here. We don't have the time to elaborate, but Ben knows very well that everything we described so far was dealing with data and big data, but sometimes there's no data or data scarcity. So we push the boundary to the next frontier, which is actually knowledge. And we managed to index the entire web in a box. And that's a different story for a different day, but it's moonshot after moonshot after moonshot MI. So that's the second one. Third is really, I always joke that the three letters which I love the most in the English language is R, O, and I. And at the end of the day, it's all about return of investment. So the key there is to be able to tie whatever technology or whatever ideas you have in mind to something that can, especially when you deal with smaller firm, that don't have a lot of money or time to spend, you need to show them, this is what you're going to spend, this is what you're going to get in return, and you're going to get there very quickly. So those three elements, again, about not being afraid to fail. Failure is as important, if not more important. Second is to make sure you aim high enough. And third, follow this ROI component. I mean, keep that in mind. Those are, I think, a winning combination for many startups right now.
Fantastic, Amir. And thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. Just to share my top 3 tips, because I think that's helpful for our challengers and other people on this Zoom event. So, I think one of the things Amir identified is a really key one from the buyer side as well, which is identify your buyer. So law firms will have innovation leads like me, but ultimately we're probably not the buyer. And you've got to figure out quite quickly who you need to convince in the organization. The bigger the organization, the harder that is, but that's your job, to be perfectly frank. You need to leverage your contacts and your knowledge to find out that information. Second top tip from me is, and don't take this the wrong way, law firms don't care about your technology. They care about the problem you can solve. And I think lots of the failures we've seen over the last 3 or 4 years of the growth of legal tech is because people have been selling solutions looking for problems. And it's interesting, it aligns again with what Amir was saying, which is follow the pain. You've got to find the problem you're trying to solve and then show how what you're bringing to the table can do that. And then the final point that I would just throw out there as a top tip is, it's a bit like selling into the financial services industry. You need to understand it operates in a regulated context and in a context where there are lots of constraints, particularly on client data, that you may think are crazy from a particularly a cloud-based world, but are the realities of the existence of what is already a conservative industry. There are real barriers, but they're problems that can and are being solved. But you need to work within that context and understand it when you get there. So that would be my top 3 tips around it, because you should know the answers to those last questions before you even walk into the pitch room. So we've had a great chat. Would have been much better to do it in person, preferably somewhere like where you are, Amir, where there's some sun, rather than where I am. But we're now going to go, I'm going to hand back and we're going to go and I believe have the pitches now.
Thank you very much. Honestly, thank you for both of you. I knew that I was going to enjoy this session, but I didn't imagine that much. And especially Amir, as an engineer, everything about data and people biases, it's just dirty talk. So it made me really, really happy that I like those subjects even more. So thank you for taking care of those, and thank you for trying to give back. And maybe we'll come back to Dubai and meet somewhere nice. So as Ben mentioned, the upcoming part is the part that a lot of our people are waiting exclusively. So we are going to go into the startup pitches. Just a second. And our pitches are in alphabetical order. The first startup will come from Turkey. I will turn off my video as well. And the stage will be on Burak's, and he will talk about AdvoPass.
Hello, this is Burak, CEO of AdvoPass, which is an online performance tracking tool for small and medium-sized law offices. When I was a solo practitioner, I was struggling to track the amount of work I did for my clients, and I didn't have a clue about my profitability. This was mainly because I couldn't track my time, and even if I did, I had to wrestle with an Excel sheet. Because there were no affordable, law-specific tools to track my time and give me smart information on my performance. I shared my problem with my co-founder, Bulut, who were also a solo practitioner at that time. And he had a similar issue, needed a simple tool on creating reports to his clients too. We knew that larger firms were solving this problem with very expensive and complex softwares, but these were not suitable for us. Then we decided to investigate whether this is a common problem or just us. The online survey we did with 150 lawyers showed us that 65% of lawyers do not know whether their business is profitable or not. 60% couldn't track their times and allocate their resources. 70% do not know any reporting tool for their clients. So we decided to come up with Legaltech, which is an affordable SaaS solution that is simple and designed for lawyers by lawyers to improve their performance and profitability by time tracking. With Legaltech, you can track your profitability and expenses based on client, area of law, industrial sector, and you can make benchmarking and see your most profitable clients and matters. This means more control. You can create customized reports to your clients. You can access, track performance of your team, how they spend their time, which is more important in the remote working era. With all that, you can easily allocate your time and resources based on the data, not only your instincts. So how does Legaltech work? Very easy. You can subscribe to Legaltech within 30 seconds and start use right away. You can start adding new clients, matters, tasks, expenses, simply by clicking the plus icon. Our dashboard, which we call Passport, provides you to the point visual statistics regarding profitability and performance benchmarking. And you can report your time spent to your client with a click, both in ready-to-send email and PDF format. Our target market is urban lawyers with 1 to 8 years of post-qualification experience, aged between 25 and 35 with their own practice, with up to 20 lawyers. Although we started in Turkey, which is a more affordable testing market, our main market is EU and UK markets, where legal professionals are mainly concentrated in big cities. We plan to reach 1 to 3% of the lawyer population of nearly 1 million as of today. After the EU, we are planning to reach US, which has 1.3 million lawyers. We know that we are not the only solution in the legal tech sector. However, Legaltech is the only solution that is focused on SME and performance vertical. Other solutions are either not designed for lawyers, are just too complex, or are just too expensive. We focus on performance, tracking, reporting, as we see that this is the main bottleneck of SME law firms to grow the chicken egg paradox and allocate their resources. Legaltech provides a lightning fast solution. We don't try to solve all the problems of lawyers, but focus on the real issue. This is what makes Legaltech unique in the market. The idea came up in May 2019. After the testing phase, we made a soft launch with our MVP in August 2020. In October, we were accepted to one of the most important fintech incubation programs, namely Allgrove. And thanks to them, now we have an office in Berlin. As of now, we have around 150 lawyers and more than 10 paying customers. Our presence in Berlin encouraged us more, and now we are in the transition phase to make our launch in the EU market. We are planning to start marketing in the beginning of 2021. Legaltech also stands out with its transparency in pricing. Unlike other solutions, we want solo practitioners, small firms, and medium firms to know what they are going to pay. For firms more than 20 lawyers, we will give a special fee code. We believe Baker McKenzie and Legaltech are just great together. By the help of Baker McKenzie's global presence, Legaltech will have the chance of global endorsement and recognition. And Legaltech will support Baker McKenzie on its mission on increasing the use of technology among all legal professionals by globally democratizing the access to such technologies in different segments, empowering young entrepreneurs, legal professionals. This is our great team to accomplish all these, which consists of lawyers or law students, except our technical staff, of course. We are also constantly benefiting from top-notch mentors who are also globally recognized. So thank you for your interest in Allgrove. You may contact us anytime. We will be happy to answer any of your questions. And don't forget to join us at Allgrove for lawyers' passport to success.
Our next startup will come from India. Ravi will talk about Avalanche.
Hello everyone, I'm Ravi Ganatra from Avalanche, and I'm here to present ZeoStride, the world's first artificial intelligence machine-based live content protection. Avalanche is one of the global leaders in the cybersecurity space, and we've been involved in 100+ successful investigations worldwide. For our clients, we've saved over $50 million US. As for the company, we've been empaneled with Europol, Interpol, and Dubai Police. We've also been recommended as the leader of the Indian threat intelligence market. As we understand, piracy is a universal problem. In the digital age, it's very easy to copy and to share pirated content. And because this content is freely available, it causes drastic decline in the perceived value of legitimate content. And also because of the advancements in broadband speed and mobile devices, piracy is on the rise exponentially. Here are some stats. Only in US alone, there are losses to the tune of $60 billion US per year in the film and the music industry. 75% of all devices have downloaded at least one illegal file, and 22% of the global internet bandwidth is used to access pirated content. What's the solution for this? ZeoStride's proprietary web crawling technology is capable of simulating human behavior while searching for infringement content all across the web. An extensive team of global copyright experts, along with automated multi-step mitigation techniques, allow us to rapidly eliminate large volumes of infringing content almost instantly. Our real-time reporting tool keeps you informed on the status of each violation, complete with all relevant data on the incident. And because of this artificial intelligence, machine learning based technology, we are capable of 24/7 monitoring of your assets. In order to avoid conflict of interest, we also ensure a two-step verification process for all detected infringements. ZeoStride has a SaaS-based platform for anti-piracy, and it's cost-effective. So it ensures to accommodate maximum number of clients and also deeper market penetration. We cover all incidents online, from cyberlockers, P2P ads to streaming linking sites and search engines. At the moment, we are involved with the Indian film industry, but considering the size of the country, we will also be looking at regional movies, and we are also looking at Hollywood that produces 2 movies per day. With the advent of OTT platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime, I think we are here to do more work than what we are currently doing. And we also would be involved in anti-piracy of applications, software, and ebooks. Here are some of the OTT platforms that we work with. And I would like to quickly mention one of the success cases where 98% of the infringement content were removed in just a matter of few hours. And this is only possible because of artificial intelligence. It is not possible even if you have a strength of 200, 500, 1,000 employees. It's just not humanly possible. These are the companies in the same industry, but our differentiating factor is obviously that while they are very high on strength of the company in terms of the number of employees, we just use artificial intelligence, and that just does the talking for us. These are some of our customers from different sectors, including technology, production houses, e-commerce, retail, airports, aviation, healthcare, and pharmaceuticals, manufacturing, and infrastructure. We also work with the banking sector, and these are some of our clients. Only in this year, we have had more than 50 awards and accolades, and here are some of the details. We've been working closely with Google, Facebook, and training their teams. We've reported a bug with Apple, Yahoo, Twitter, and we've been listed in Entrepreneur magazine. We've also featured in the Forbes this year, and we've been also featured in some of the leading TV shows in the country. We would love to have an association with Baker McKenzie, and what we are looking at is guidance and funding for global expansion, as well as legal expertise, of course. Avalanche is devoted to protecting creativity and innovation, and this is our mission. However, our vision is to coexist in harmony in a piracy-free world. Thank you so much. That's my time. And for any more information that you might like to have, please feel free to contact us on hello@avalanche.in. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Before going to the next startup, I just want to remind you that you can always write your questions from chat or Q&A session. Our founders are online, and it will be really nice. Moving to the next startup, Bug Bounter from Turkey, and Arif will talk about the startup.
Hi, my name is Arif. I'm one of the 3 co-founders of Bug Bounter. On the screen, you are watching a live cyber attack map, and we are building an ecosystem that will ensure such cyber attacks remain as harmless as possible. In the media, you are constantly seeing the scary news of cyber attack disasters from all around the world. For example, in the last 6 months, 9 million passengers' data was stolen from EasyJet. Most tech companies are dealing with huge lawsuits now. You should know that there is a cyber attack every 39 seconds, and it takes 6 months for the breached company to notice such intrusion. It is predicted that those attacks will cost $6 trillion worldwide damage next year. So in summary, we really have to worry about this. We know that every company has a weakness against cyber attacks because of unknown vulnerabilities. Companies are rapidly deploying software and applications to production under competitive pressure. And malicious hackers are constantly attacking those digital assets. And security teams are insufficient with their skill sets and number of employees, and rising cybersecurity costs are exceeding IT budgets. So as a result of security breaches, companies are losing cash, data, reliability, and customers worth millions of dollars. Our solution to this problem is to provide security test services by thousands of registered freelancers on our platform. Our platform has 3 stakeholders: companies, researchers, and validators. Companies are publishing their digital assets that they want to be scanned on the platform, and they select the researcher crowd to work with. The reports sent by those researchers are validated by the platform members and sent to the customer. The payments for accepted reports only are done by the blockchain process. We are able to deliver the first report within 24 hours. Our product is a web application. We opened our system for use in August and signed contracts with 270 researchers subscribed on our platform. During the last 4 months, we have published the programs of customers and ours on the platform. The verification processes of all submitted 95 reports were completed, and we helped our clients to take action for 47 of them before hackers discover. As the founding partners, our friendship started in the 80s while sailing in Galatasaray Club and continued in Bosphorus University Industrial Engineering. In '88, we started our own software company. And in the meantime, I represented Turkey in 2 Olympic Games as an athlete in sailing. And then in the following years, I had careers in IT and consulting, Murat in cybersecurity, and Ozan in fintech software. And last year, we established our startup. And we are a team of 7 now. Cybersecurity testing market is projected to approach nearly $3 billion in 2023 with a compound annual growth rate of 26%. And the wallet share of crowd platforms is growing from 8 to 35%. So to obtain a $40 million market in a fast pace, we will expand to Europe next month. Competition is quite strong in US, none in our region, and very weak in Europe. So with our digital marketing strategy, we will reach our target clients. And unlike the competitors, we will appoint representatives in certain geographies and get closer to stakeholders. And with our blockchain technology and democratized process flow, we will establish trust and loyalty. Our revenue model has 2 channels. First is to obtain 20% commission over the approved and rewarded reports. And second is to have regular income from managed services and predictive data based on various subscription choices. Our forecast is to reach the MRR level of $100,000 by the year end next year. So we closed the pre-seed deal with a group of 6 angel investors and received the investment so far. And in the second quarter of next year, we plan to go around A investment and achieve a global growth momentum. And we believe we can grow faster and achieve our goals quicker, partnering with Baker McKenzie. So in order to get ahead of cyber criminals, we would like to support Baker McKenzie's own cyber protection. We would like to access your client base and help them get protected. And we would like to get introduced to and penetrate in major target markets, such as UK and Netherlands, with Baker McKenzie. So thank you for this opportunity.
Our next startup is CopyTrack, and they are building artificial intelligence, and their founder, Marcus, will talk about CopyTrack.
Hi, I'm Marcus Schmidt, CEO from CopyTrack, and thank you very much for your time today listening to our pitch. CopyTrack is in the market a bit more than 5 years now. We are a B2B software and service provider for image and brand protection. We have around 35,000 clients worldwide. We are growing by 600 new clients per month. And we are processing right now around 6,000 claims per month in 190 countries. The problem today is that image protection and brand protection is very time consuming and frustrating because it's very difficult to find and to match. And also the amount of infringement and of images is growing daily. As you see, per day, about 3 billion images are uploaded and shared. And 85% are used without a valid license. Out of these images, this 85%, only 1% are actually caught, and out of this 1%, another percent is only really filed at court. The same goes for fake products and gray markets. What we have built as a solution is a piece of technology, actually 2 pieces. The first one is an image crawler that finds about 99% of all images worldwide. And out of those images, we have an image matcher, AI, which has an accuracy of 99.5%, even if the image is cropped, flipped, changed, or built into a collage. And these images will be compared with the client's images and brands and product images. Now, from this point on, we have 2 business units. The first one is geared towards photographers and e-commerce and stuff, so image owners whose images are used. In that case, we have a case assessment in-house, and we accept about 65% of all cases, and then they run into an automated settlement portal and post-licensing portal where the opponents can actually settle the case. However, only a small fraction is settled automatic, and the rest is going to legal partners worldwide. The second business unit and case, and this is also when the cooperation potential comes in, is IP and product and brand protection. So we have the technology to track the use of logos and product images and uncover fake products and gray markets and brand abuse with this technology, independent from languages, just based on images and logos. So one possibility would be a cooperation by using our technology for yourself as an IP lawyer, or for your clients if you have big brands that have a need for that. And the second one is we of course want to enhance the product, and therefore we are very interested in hearing and implementing your needs for such a product. The second business unit is the enforcement of image copyrights, and there we, as I said, also have the technology, but we are actually creating 6,000 infringement cases per month, and they have to be enforced globally. And we are doing that today, as I said, partially automatic, but a big chunk of that has to be legally enforced. And there, of course, a partner like Baker McKenzie could be of very good use. Quick glimpse to our technology. We have a section of copyright registration. We built our own public blockchain that is dedicated to the registration of image rights. We have a search and monitoring section. I quickly explained. We have a crawler currently crawling 5,000 pages per second and an image matching AI with a very high accuracy. And in the area of licensing and legal tech, we have built portals for lawyers, but also for opponents in order to deal with the cases we create. Last but not least, I think our technology and also our geographical reach is unique. Right now, as of today, nobody else is offering something like that. We have a big network of partners, but of course, we are always looking for capable, especially law firms that have a global reach. So thank you very much for your time. And here you see my contact data on the bottom. Thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to answer questions so you have.
Our next startup is coming from UK, Avery Hill, and we'll talk about their company Synopsys.
Hello, my name is Ava Hill, and I'm a co-founder at Synopsys. It's a pleasure to be here today to share a little bit more about Synopsys and what we do. So, Synopsys is a B2B regulatory technology company that specializes in KYC, KYB, and AML. Very simply put, what Synopsys does is it applies the latest functional technologies, those of machine learning, natural language processing, biometrics, and many others, to the age-old problem of client onboarding. Just because a particular task is repetitive and mundane does not mean that it's not important. If a firm gets the client onboarding journey wrong, it can lead to some significant risks to that organization. It can lead to heavy fines, reputational impacts, and of increasing importance today, it can also lead to a poor initial user experience. So what we do here at Synopsys is basically automate the manual and digitize the analog to improve that client initial journey. We have 3 products in the market at the moment. We have Artemis, which is concerned with digital onboarding, ID and document verification. We have Artemis, which is an eKYC case management system that conducts an automated risk assessment, risk bucketing of clients that then drives the ongoing due diligence. And then finally, we have Athena, which is concerned with transaction monitoring. Now, all of these platforms are connected and configurable. That's why we are able to support so many clients across so many different jurisdictions. So to give you some background on Synopsys, we were founded in 2014, and we now have offices across the globe. We have offices in Asia, the Middle East, Europe, and most recently, the United States. And as I've already said, we support 1,600 clients across 28 different jurisdictions. So from a market perspective, the opportunity set is huge. Banks alone spend in excess of $200 billion on their compliance on an annual basis. And that figure is only set to grow. So we have competitors in each of those three different verticals. So you'd have heard of the likes of Onfido, Jumio, Trulio, Finergo, Nice Actimize, etc. We currently work with large banks such as Standard Chartered. We also work with insurers like Aviva, accountants like BDO, etc. And we have partnerships with AWS, Dow Jones, and Refinitiv. And there below are just a few of the awards that we have won. So areas of possible cooperation between Baker McKenzie, Esin Attorney Partnership, and Synopsys. We can consider a number of different initiatives, from white label compliance, your own internal use of the capability, or a specific project for your clients. Just to round up, Synopsys has 50 employees. They are split between front, middle, and back office, with approximately 25 staff focused on sales, business development, client service, relationship management, etc., and 25 on our own team. From a management perspective, we have all had long careers in financial services. Both Chaikit and I spent over 25 years in tier 1 investment banks. Chaikit, for instance, was regional head of compliance for Macquarie Bank. Dan worked for Deutsche, and Wei Xiong worked for UBS. And myself, I worked for JP Morgan and Bank of New York Mellon. So that was a very quick overview of Synopsys, our capabilities, and what we do. And I look forward to any questions that you might have. Thank you for your attention.
Our next startup is coming from Israel, and Shlomo will talk about EasySend.
Hi, my name is Shlomo Amir. I'm Chief Business Officer in EasySend. What are we trying to solve? We're trying to eliminate all the friction that paperwork creates. When you have a client and you need to onboard him or engage him with any business process, and you use PDF or paper, there is a lot of friction internally and externally, not in good order, multiple resend, and your employees are spending a lot of time and your customers are getting frustrated. EasySend aims to eliminate it by digitizing the process. So today, what can customers do? They can digitize processes themselves, but this will be very, very long and expensive. While using the EasySend solution, it will be short, relatively cheap, and of course, maintenance will be much, much lower. A little bit about EasySend. We are an Israeli startup, initiated in Israel about 4 years ago. We raised about $16 million in capital. We have operations on headquarters in Israel, but we have also presence in Europe and the United States. By now, we have over 40 enterprise customers in Israel, in Europe, and in the United States. What we do is digitize all your paperwork and PDF processes. This could be for any business process, could be onboarding, loan application, regulatory, etc., etc. We replace everything with engaging user interface. How do we do that? We help you build a process, we integrate it into your systems, and then we help you optimize the process to the best. So building a process is an easy drag and drop builder that allows the user very intuitively create a completely new process from scratch. If the user have already a PDF, we use our automation, artificial intelligence tool called Cadabra to scan the PDF automatically, identify the different sections, and create automatically a first version of the digital process. And by this, creating a very, very fast migration from PDF to a digital process. EasySend also integrates seamlessly with the environment. It could be with external services like payment, like know your customers, or it could be with other devices outside, or with your core systems, could be Salesforce.com, SAP, and others, all using, again, our drag and drop builder. On top of it, we provide data analytics, which enables the organization to analyze the process, change it, and modify it to increase completion rates, and by this, increase customer satisfaction. We have management dashboards, department dashboards, agent dashboards, which will enable really the organization to get the best of the platforms. Could be, our solution could be aimed at life insurance, a customer, all kinds of customer engagement, and also internal processes of the organization. We have many other tools around it. For example, our virtual assistant, which enable agents to help interactively the customers if they are not clarified about this process. It also, the customer enables also the customer to scan attachment and to provide it as part of its application. In the end of the process, many processes ends with a physical signature. So out of the box, we provide e-signature tools that enables the customer to sign on screen and integrate it with the PDF and all available to the organization. So in the end of the day, the organization gets a PDF signed, it gets the data which automatically integrate into its core systems with everything verified and ready to go. We address today insurance and financial services, and we are aiming now at the legal and healthcare. This is a few examples of customers. At the left side, you have NGM. It's a big automotive insurance company. Petplan is a pet insurance company. Or at the right-hand side, it's a mortgage bank, which use our platform to enable mortgage application. On the legal side, we can really address onboarding, submitting, and many other tasks of the legal industry. And this is a team. The three on the left side are the founders of the company. I joined the company about a year and a half ago, and we're here to support the operation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Next company is coming from Turkey. Efilli will be pitched by Shefik.
Hi, I am Shefik. I am co-founder and marketing manager of Efilli. Simply to define, Efilli is a consent management platform. We ensure that cookie consents are obtained in accordance with the regulations. As a marketer, I have experienced the necessity to obtain explicit consent. When I searched for CMP to work with my banking client, I couldn't find any company in Turkey. The idea of Efilli came from here. While collecting explicit consent, we have to comply with regulations such as GDPR, KVKK, or CCPA. Providing options to users while collecting cookie consent is one of the most important problems. Most of the websites just display a "we are collecting cookies" warning, and it is not enough for compliance, as we know. Storing and managing this consent is a serious burden for companies. The GDPR classes cookie as a type of online identifier. So cookies are personal data. Mostly companies are focused to get consent from related people. However, consent is not a one-way road. We have to give related person the option to easily opt out from the cookies collected and customize their settings according to their choices. As Efilli, we solve most of cookie consent obligation. Websites can implement Efilli into their websites just in a few minutes. Local storage is our X factor. A recent administrative fine came into existence because the company was storing marketing data of their customer abroad. Turkey is very sensitive to data transfer abroad. Only 4 steps is needed to obtain cookie consent with Efilli. For SMBs, it takes about 2 or 3 hours to integrate Efilli, and for a larger companies, it takes 2 or 3 days because of their business flows. When comparing current solutions, they are complex and not user-friendly, as you see in the left side of my screen. Affiliate is easy to understand for visitors and both user and UI-friendly product. There are 1.7 billion registered websites worldwide. Roughly 21% of them are active. Our goal is integrate with 100 domain in a Q1 and 1,000 domain at the end of the year. We invested SEO as a go-to-market strategy. We rank first in many search terms. We agreed on business partnership with many companies. We especially attach importance to a partnership with lawyers and GDPR advisories. In the last phase, we will provide plugins for e-commerce infrastructures like Magento, Shopify, and WordPress. We have many different competitors all over the world. Our differentiations are to be easy to use and on-premise setup. Also, as I mentioned, local service is very big point. We have 3 different packages. The first packages are for SMEs. The third package is for corporate companies and is more flexible than others. We promising on-premise installation, current privacy notification, and personalization. We started the consent business in July 2020. Now we have 22 customers and 95,000 Turkish lira ARR. At the end of the first quarter of 2021, our IDFA consent product will be launched. Then we will target the global market. We think it will be mandatory to obtain explicit consent for IDFA after the cookie. Mobile consent is the future of the consent management. We are a competent team. Me and Ercan is a co.
Our next startup is from Estonia, and HUGO.Legal will be pitched by Artur Fyodorov.
Each and every one of us has at least one friend who can't afford legal services due to the high price, and therefore their rights are not protected enough. We can help them, all of them. Good day, my name is Artur, and I'm the founder and CEO of HUGO.Legal. Some 60 years ago, in 1916, probably less than 1% globally had any meaningful access to justice. It was very exclusive and mainly for rich white men. And now, 16 years later, in 2020, with all the modern technology and legal tech tools available, there are still 80% of the global population who can't afford legal services. This is also true for most small and medium-sized businesses. And one of the reasons for that is that the delivery of legal services has been quite the same over the past decades, even centuries, you think about it. And at the same time, there are a great number of highly qualified lawyers on the market, but they're not efficient enough, acquiring a new customer, dealing with downtime, at marketing, PR, billing, customer support, and so forth. HUGO.Legal is disrupting the legal industry by redesigning the legal marketplace, combining the best in artificial intelligence technology with the power of sharing economy. At HUGO, we integrated all the infrastructure a lawyer needs with the matchmaking marketplace to provide end-to-end system for solo practitioners, freelance lawyers, and law boutiques. Now, the majority of lawyers work solo or they have small law firms. Only a fraction of lawyers work in big law, meaning that most of the lawyers don't have sufficient infrastructure surrounding them. With HUGO, lawyers can concentrate only on the very essence of their work, and they can do that at a time and manner that they prefer and in the legal field that they choose. Everything else is dealt by the platform, and most of it is automated. HUGO connects consumers, small and medium-sized businesses with the right legal expert at the right time and cost in the corresponding jurisdiction. And for common and widespread legal problems, HUGO has developed robot lawyers. We built Estonia's first robot lawyer that has helped hundreds of Estonians to save nearly €500,000 without any human intervention. What took us months to build takes us now just a few days. We have developed the technology so we could scale into new markets. We bill lawyers according to the revenue with management fee, meaning that we are in a transactional business model. So far, we have successfully matched over 30,000 customers with lawyers, making us the largest legal service platform in Estonia. With close to 100K monthly revenue, we are now gearing up to expand new markets. HUGO's founders have profound experience in business, in marketing, in technology, and in legal for more than 10 years. And we have an amazing team, consists of 10 members in 4 different nationalities, all fully committed to revolutionize the legal industry. And we're honored to have such great advisors on board, such as ex-long-term Vice Chancellor Minister of Justice in Estonia, Marko Avik, and also Super Angel has made an investment to us, an angel investment. And Super Angel is also the investor of Estonian unicorns like Pipedrive and Bolt. HUGO has been chosen as the top 5 startup brands in the Baltics. And last year we won the Nordic Legal Tech competition and LegalTech Polska chatbot competition in Poland. We are on a mission to make access to justice possible. Our long-term vision is to build a universal robot lawyer, so the most common cases could be solved by a robot lawyer and more complex ones would be matched with a real lawyer by AI. Robot lawyers will be part of a future lawyer everyday lives, not taking away their jobs, but empowering them, making the legal process more efficient and therefore more affordable. Does Baker McKenzie want to be part of a meaningful social change? Then let's work together and let's save the world from injustice. Thank you for your attention. My name is Arthur and we are HUGO.Legal. Thank you.
Our next startup is coming from Germany, and Daniel will pitch LegalTech Group, Germany.
My name is Daniel from LegalTech Group. We are a litigation funding company from Munich and Germany, and that's our presentation. What is the problem? High costs and unpredictable risks prevent existing legal claims from being asserted in court. So, what is the solution for that problem? Me and my team, the LegalTech Group, developed a unique, predictable, and highly automated investment systems for investment in litigation funding. Our algorithm is called RayData 360. It's an AI predictive analytics algorithm, and we can predict the lawsuit's outcome in a very accurate way. What's about the market? It's a huge global market. Legal fees are very high, and we need a part of that for us. So competition, it exists a handful of competitors, but they are reduced range of services and they have lower success rates. You know, big litigation funding companies, they are not fast, very slow, like a oil shipping ship, and we are very fast and we have a very good team. And now here's the business model. We acquire a lot of clients with a high volume claims, and then we make legal examination from the claims, make the calculation of the value of the claim, and then we give the whole claim and client to an external lawyer, maybe Esin Attorney Partnership or Baker, and they make the law enforcement and send their bill to us. We pay the costs and we are the litigation funder. So if we win the process or the lawsuit, we get 33% of the value from the client or from the claim. Only success-based. If we lose, the client don't pay us. So the further fields of activity, we have a big portfolio of Wirecard clients, life insurance clients, health insurance clients, and we need a lot of money, of course. Lawyer fees are high. We have to pay them. So we get the money from own bonds that we issue for investors, litigation bonds. It's very interesting how we get the clients. We have a strong sales pipeline, online and offline. Interesting are the offline pipeline, I think so. We have over 300 external sales partners They send us their clients with the claims, mostly private banks and financial brokers. Why we are so successful? We have strong selection criteria for new fields and claims, and we can predict here with the regression, AI and predictive analytics algorithm, the lawsuit's outcome in a very accurate way. And we have success rates in the range of 98 to 89%. The out of court agreement is over 60% right now, and the margin per case over 60%. That's very high profitable business for us. So here it's nice to see that litigation funding is more profitable than normal asset classes like private equity, real estate, credit, and also hedge funds. Important is our team. We are not only lawyers, more analytic guys. Here's the guy from the head of mathematics for analyze law court decisions. Ms. Kim is a statistics master guy. She designs statistical models for predict lawsuit outcome. Here's one of our sales distributions guy. And then we have the second team, the investment team, with one lawyer, banking, capital markets, right? Then an analytics guy and sales guy from former MM Bauburg, one of the biggest private banks in Germany. Here we have also a mathematic guy, an analyst guy, former chief investment officer from the Central Bank of Malta, a well-experienced lawyer from Deutsche Bank, and also a lawyer from revocation of real estate loans. So what could we do for you? With us, you are able to handle mass litigation cases, also in the offense side and also of the defense side. Long story short, we bring new clients and automated revenues and also the money from the litigation funding to you. Current offense and defense clients are Clerical, Medical, Generali, Allianz, Volkswagen, EY, Canada Life, and a lot of more. My name is Daniel from LegalTech Group. My name is Daniel from LegalTech.
Our next startup is from Singapore, and John will talk about Quant LegalTech.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Compliance by Quant LegalTech. My name is John Matheson, and I'm the co-founder of the company, and I'm going to give you an overview of how the system works. Right, obviously the world of compliance is plagued by a number of common issues. Obviously the complexity is huge, there's a lot of regulatory scrutiny, and over the last decade we're at an all-time high in terms of enforcement. And what that means is that the reputational hit for getting compliance wrong can be catastrophic, as this gentleman on the right illustrates. So then we take a look, what are companies actually doing about this complexity? Well, for the most part, they are calling upon their trusty Excel spreadsheet as the sole means of tracking where their compliance stands. So with that in mind, let's take a look at our vision statement, which is essentially to address that problem statement and to build a solution that not only enables more sophisticated and more controlled operations with compliance, but also brings in the legal profession as a trusted advisor to assist with this task. And I'm guided here also by the thought leader in this area, Professor Richard Susskind, who predicted that the bulk of apps in this area of legal tech will be technologies that touch the client and support the delivery of legal services. And there will be a move away from consultative lawyering to technology that is embedded in the relationship. And I have to add that as someone who's been in law practice for a long time, I've also been general counsel of an MNC. And in that MNC environment, I was responsible for Asia Pacific and Japan. And I became frustrated how we had lost proximity with our law firms, not because they weren't great attorneys, but because we were using them less. And because of that, it became so much more difficult to instruct them. And when we did instruct them, they didn't understand our business. So when I got into legal tech, one thing I wanted to address is how do we recreate that proximity where law firms and clients have a better understanding of their respective requirements. Well, what we did was we created Compliance, which essentially takes every conceivable compliance in a legal system, uploads it into the cloud, and breaks it down into little chunks. And it doesn't matter how complex or how big or how many compliances are involved, we can simplify it for you. On the left-hand side here, there is a reference to Grameen Kuta, which is one of our clients in India, and they provide rural finance to women in particular. And we track more than 100,000 of their compliances, and they operate in 900 offices. So we have no trouble scaling to any size. So let's just take a quick look at the platform. Here's the opening page of a compliance dashboard. I'm going to click on my task at the top. My task will then take me to all the different legal areas which are listed on the left. I click on this case on the Monetary Authority of Singapore. I bring up all the different notes, advisories, or guidelines issued by the MAS, and this takes me to a slide which, in this case, is part of the dashboard but relates to a specific compliance about audit requirements and the need to have policies and procedures in place. This is something that typically the clients get lost with. So what we do is we embed the trusted legal advisor into the platform. In this case, I can click on the Baker's moniker, and out from that comes up the audit requirement, together with the necessary guidelines, enforcement actions, and other information I need to execute that compliance, making this a whole lot simpler. And this can happen in every conceivable area. In this case, here's the board being responsible for internal controls. How do I do that? I click on the Baker's button, and there are the internal documents that Baker's have provided, as well as I have the ability to contact the firm. And then for IT training, exactly the same thing, although in this case, I can rely on the data book or handbook provided directly from the lawyers. Also, a lot of these compliances have issues in common. So what the lawyer is able to do is to advise the client on how these can be consolidated so that all the policies and procedures are executed together, all of the board resolutions can be executed together. And so a great number of efficiencies can be created by doing that. And finally, here's the report slide. I've got one-click export. I can tell my board exactly what I'm doing. I can execute a compliance statement, and everything's in the same place, and I have instant report capability as required.
I know it was quite tough. A lot of great startups with complicated problems that they are trying to solve. So if anyone from our jury also would like to ask their questions to our founders, I would be happy to guide them. So if anyone is interested in asking a question, you can turn on your camera and microphone, and I will give like 1.5 minute. If not, oh, perfect. Ben, are you here to ask a question?
I'm happy to start the process.
Sounds good.
So my question is to Arto and the HUGO.Legal team, which is obviously doing some interesting stuff around, what you call the robot lawyer. And certainly that's an area that we have looked at. The question I had for you is, have you thought about, and what do you tell your clients about privilege when using a tool like that?
And by privilege, you mean?
Legal privilege. So obviously, if you're automating the legal advice and it's not coming from a regulated lawyer, yeah. Are your customers asking that question? I guess is the real point there.
Well, I guess we have different experiences, because I'm not sure that Baker McKenzie is targeting the audience or the consumers that we have. So let's say that we have the experience that we have gotten here in Estonia with over 40,000 cases that we have seen. Well, they're not very overly complex, sophisticated, and we don't usually do robot lawyers for complex, sophisticated cases. What we do is that we find out whether there's like patterns, some common issues, some widespread issues and we start with them. For instance, I guess this is around the world, but for instance, in Estonia, debt collection companies usually ask more money than they should. And the process there is quite easy. So there's a matter like few customers probably want privilege, they want nice offices, you know, their lawyer being suited up and so, but the others want just their problem solved. And for them, a robot lawyer would be the best option because it's more affordable than to hire a top-notch attorney. And you shouldn't buy a top-notch attorney for something that is very widespread and actually it's kind of easy to solve as well, since the regulation is very strongly, you know, in place. So I guess that it's different experience.
Fantastic, thank you.
That's got it. Sounds good. Thank you, Arthur. Thank you, Ben. Do we have any other question? Danielle, would you like to chip in?
Hi, Daniel here from Reinvent Law. I have a question for Esin. I would be very interested to learn a little bit more about how you plan to tackle the legal sector, because I think you have been active mostly in other areas for now, so would be quite interested to learn what you see as possible use cases there.
Absolutely. Hi, Daniel. It's Till from EasySend here. A good question. So yes, our DNA is absolute financial services, but we are very much looking at other sectors like legal, where it's still a lot of the aspects are still form-based, and we just see a tremendous value there or potential in regards to the whole interaction on information being exchanged with lawyers and their customers or between corporates on a B2B level. So again, anything that still involves a PDF form to be filled out, government forms, legal forms, notary forms, that is all that can be then all added to that aspect as well.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And also, I want to move to our next part. So if Eli, Günce, and Benjamin, if you are here, maybe it is time for you to open your cams on. So hi, I see Eli joining us. Let me just
I cannot start my video.
Yeah.
Hi, Kaan. I cannot start my video. This is Günce.
Let me just check. Let me just, maybe you can try it now.
I think first. Hello.
Happy to see you all. And thank you very much. I'm going to leave the stage to Eli, so you can continue to your fireside chat. Thanks for being with us. And this is the last part of our event. Then we will proceed with the winners of the day. Thank you.
Thanks,
Kaan. Hi, everyone. It's a great pleasure to welcome you all in our second annual LegalTech Startup Challenge. And today I'll be moderating our legal innovation panel. And we are joined by two distinguished legal professionals, Günce Çakır, the head of legal department at ING Bank, and Benjamin Helden, senior legal counsel at Spotify. Before we start our panel, I'd like to take this opportunity to tell about what legal innovation means for us and what we do in that context. You may agree that legal innovation is more than just using brand new technologies. It's a mentality, it's a culture, and most important aspects of legal innovation are, without doubt, adaptability and strive for the new and better. This was our motivation at Esin when we started to use new technologies. We wanted to be at the forefront of innovation and create a culture in our firm where we benefit from the blessings of the technology and produce, even better works in a more efficient way. With Baker McKenzie, of course, we deployed a number of technologies our lawyers can actively use in their daily routines. As lawyers, we deal with great number of legal issues, long agreements, and thousands of other legal documents. The struggle. Sometimes we prepare agreements from scratch. Sometimes we conduct extensive reviews on a large number of documents for critical clauses or data. In that sense, for instance, we use Contract Express for agreements. In Contract Express, we fill out a simple questionnaire to draft a complicated document that would otherwise require 90% more time to complete. For our reviews for critical clauses or data, we use a different technology. We also benefit from predictive coding in Relativity for our compliance investigations. In Relativity, there is a self-learning software which predicts that person might be looking for in the documents. Gradually, the system understands the purpose of the review and it starts displaying more related documents so that the reviewer may achieve better results within much shorter timeframes. These are just some of the examples, of course, of the technologies we use, and there are others, but I think the most important point here is to work on improving ourselves all the time because technology is changing fast. Now I want to turn to our guests. We are joined by Günce, as I mentioned, and Benjamin, and we are already excited to hear what they have to say. Well, at least I am. Günce and Benjamin, welcome to our panel, and thank you very much for joining us today. I'd like to start with a question with Günce. We see that ING heavily invests in technology and innovation. You have a number of projects like, ING Datathon, ING Innovation Center, ITU Big Bang, you name it. Innovation Center particularly piqued our interest as an acceleration program for startups. You call it a gateway to startup ecosystem. Could you please tell us more about Innovation Center and ING's agenda for startups? How can new startups benefit from Innovation Center?
Sure, thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank all the tech companies for their pitching. They're all very, very impressive products, so good luck. In ING, our culture is, part of our culture at ING is helping and improving others. And this applies to our clients, our personnel, of course, also technology companies. We at ING also describe ourselves as a technology company with a banking license. From that perspective, collaboration with the developing fintech companies and startups promises a great potential. Building technology is something, but building technology that actually works is something else. Therefore, in ING, we develop and use our own method, PACE, where we continuously validate customer and user experience and needs. So we want to make sure that something, a product or a platform. And at the moment, we aim to become Turkey's best digital institution, not best digital bank, but best digital institution. And you just cannot do it by yourself. So in 2017, we built the ING Turkey Innovation Center, where we would like to collaborate and communicate with the startups, fintech companies, and to support them, to feed them with knowledge. And not only the startups and tech companies, but also students, technology students, engineers, etc. So to date, we have met more than 600 startups at the center, and we organize more than 400 events, and we met around, I think, 15,000 startups, tech companies. I'm sorry, 15,000 people, of course. And our center has become like a, Silicon Valley Innovation Center, well, where people walk in as they want, because we presented workshops and inspirational talks almost every day. So they will just leave their work or school. They will just enter, to the center and receive very valuable information from very valuable people like CEOs of companies, professionals, tax experts, lawyers. We gave what we called a startup law program to startups and students. We taught data protection law, how to set up their company, international property law, etc. So it was very valuable to see that, every day people and startups that enter our system, enter our innovation center has increased. So we have a very, nice network there. And in 2020, ING Innovation Center organized an acceleration program, and over 90 legal tech, not just legal tech, but 90 startups, they applied for it. And I think we delivered 10 enterprises support and 1.5 month-long training. They received from us sponsorship, and one person from one of the startups that we chose after, a competition, they get to go to a 5-week hero training program at Silicon Valley Draper University. So we sponsored it. So we just, and there they will receive a training, and also they get to meet with American investors. So we not only work with startups for our own products, we also help them develop and find their international investors. So that's a summary of what we are doing, actually.
Thank you. This is really valuable. Also, I think how you define yourself is self-explanatory. Technology company having a banking license.
It's also a bold saying, right? It's very bold. for a bank, it's very bold, but we have to be that way in order to be successful.
That is really valuable. My second question is also for you. We also know that you have been working with, on some innovative solutions, legal solutions within the ING. Would you share some examples with us? How does the process of deploying and adopting new technologies work from a legal department's perspective? What are your challenges?
Before I joined ING, I made some research and I understood immediately that ING is very into technology. I was also very into technology as well. And after spending some time to understand what legal department needs, I first appointed a lawyer who is very interested in innovation in my team as head of innovation. And together we created, of course, together with our IT department, we created a project called Digital Legal. Under that project, we produced 2 platforms, Legon and Legate. They're all our ING brands, by the way, registered ING brands. Legon is an online platform that enables all internal clients to convey their requests to legal, not by email, but through the platform, and get legal opinions as a part of continuous workflow. Each user can get legal advice from the platform, and it is secure, trackable, user-friendly. It has our own library, which means that you can use that library as a library of a chatbot. So it will be an AI-based chatbot in a very near future. So we are working on it. We have a chatbot, but it's not AI-based right now. It will be AI-based. So for this product, we received the Legal Innovation of the Year award in 2018 in ING. The other product is Legate, the litigation platform. It is also a digitalized project where we have our claims in the system and automatically reported to the ING NV, our parent company. I don't want to go into detail, but Legate also received the Project of the Year award this last year. So we received 2 global awards in 3 years after I joined, and thanks to my team, I happened to notice that the team they were also very innovative. So I just gave them the vision, and they were very successful. And the challenges were actually, I would say there were really 3 challenges. First of all, legal, we had difficulties encountered in using artificial intelligence due to long and complicated statements in legal, in our legal world. Second was we obviously have difficulty in accessing the high court rulings. They're not open. Not all of them are open to us because, they will, if we had them all, we could use them as a library of information. And the third is, I think maybe the most important for our industry, we have very high information standards in the bank, and startups really struggle to keep up with that and to comply with that. So I worked with a startup for a project which we implemented, but it really took a lot of time because of our, information security standards. So I think we should educate them more on our requirements in the banking industry. That was my takeaway.
Great. I mean, I knew that ING is investing in technology a lot, but I wasn't aware of the details. So thank you very much for all the information you provided to us. It was really interesting to hear. So my next question is to Benjamin. So Spotify is the largest interactive music service in the world. It introduced an innovative business model shining among the existing models in practice. Without a doubt, I think innovative mentality has been the driving force to success. What do you think are the baby steps to innovative change? What would you recommend new startups to, accelerate their growth?
Hi, Lai. Great question and a large and a big one, I'd say. I did have some thoughts around this, and then I heard all the presentations before, and I actually have some more thoughts now. But a couple of general points. I think one thing that I think, and Daniel spoke to this, and I thought it was a great point, is it's easy to speak about innovation, and then you come back to your desk and you have work to do. So I think one thing, and something that we've worked a lot with, is structured innovation. Structure your organization so that you give your employees the time to innovate and task them actively with innovating during a week or a day per year, where they are given the chance to work on projects that are close to heart. So I think that's a big thing. Otherwise, and appreciate this is some self-promotion, but Daniel and Gustav, Daniel our CEO, Gustav our Chief R&D Officer, have done some fantastic podcast interviews on this topic, among other things. So check them out. They're on our platform, of course. Just search for Daniel Ek or Gustav Söderström, and they will have some fantastic thoughts around, outside of the legal area, some great thoughts around growth, enabling growth, which I think are really good. From my perspective, and coming from a purely kind of legal background and a dispute background, so I do legal and disputes outside of North America. I've always found that scaling and process creation is key. Putting out fires, which will be a big part, I think, of any startup journey, that's key. But every such fire is an opportunity to put something in place that you can scale. I think for a legal department, that's absolutely necessary to build to grow with the business, particularly in a high growth environment. Then again, something that just occurred to me when listening to Günther and Daniel, and Günther, some humbling projects you have there, extremely impressive. But kind of the thought around people, process, tech, I think really spoke to me. I think some fantastic points there. And the people question, of course, I think, yeah, starts at the top of an organization. Lawyers can
Thank you very much, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, lawyers can tend to be conservative, and so I think it is important in an organization to open up for innovation, and innovation. The flip side of innovation can be risk-taking, right? And so there needs to be an acceptance of some form of going outside of kind of tried and tested. What else? Well, one thing for you, Eli, and as I looked at some of the presentations, and Daniel's in particular around product delivery, I think one thing is make your client's life as easy as you can, and focus on user friendliness. When I worked on process creation and tech to facilitate that, I think user friendliness is super important. But then also that, as I think it's again coming back to the cultural point, that lawyers can tend to be perfectionists, always deliver something that is 100%. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't. There are matters where that is absolutely key. But I think lawyers may think about opening up to the idea that's used in some sections of tech, which is speed of delivery is priority one, and then you iterate. And I think there are processes where that's a thought that can be super helpful. Deliver something. There may be areas that don't work exactly as you thought. Then it's a question about speed of iteration. So, Eli, I don't know if I answered your question, but at least those were my thoughts.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, you actually went beyond that. I will definitely check out the podcasts as well if I haven't checked them already. So I have another question. So Spotify operates in a number of different jurisdictions with different legal requirements. They're all very different from each other. Given how Spotify differs from, conventional music platforms, what have been the biggest challenges you faced when adapting your system to the laws of the jurisdictions you operate in?
Yeah, super question and a complex one, but I'll try to keep it short. Three overall things. One, growth mindset. I think one thing is the law across markets, right? Those will differ, but for me it ties back to what I mentioned previously around being able to grow and scale with your business. So we speak a lot about growth mindset at Spotify. I think that's one important cultural part. Then from a legal department perspective, I come back again to process creation. Absolutely necessary to have that. And also use of technology where possible. We've actually, one thing that I think is helpful and potentially something for a more sophisticated organization rather than a startup, but is to try, and Gunther, I really loved your idea about an attorney with a huge interest in tech who can drive projects. I think fantastic. One alternative could be to have a legal operations team. Not saying that those two are mutually exclusive, but that's something I think can be helpful. And then third, Eli, access to good counsel as well across markets. So some Baker McKenzie promotion there as well. No, but spending time on that, finding that, being able to utilize it in an efficient manner, I think is out of necessity key.
Yeah, thanks. Obviously, it's a teamwork. If it's a good teamwork, it works very well. Thanks. So one more question for Günce, and then another one for Ben. This is more like a generic question to Günce, but how do you think Turkey and the Turkish startup ecosystem or Turkish legal system is prepared for this increasing pace of change? And if you think they're not ready for it, what can we do now to change that?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank Ben about a kind words he said. And also I have to say that I envy you because your product beats mine. It's way more enjoyable anyway. But what I think about Turkish ecosystem is, I believe know-how and experience is obviously there. And I do see that Turkish professionals are very practical, result-oriented. I think therefore we play an important role in global companies. The head of innovation, global head of innovation was a Turkish guy from ING Turkey, for example. He now became a CEO. So we do understand it. The professionals are really good, but the ecosystems, I think, need more investors and sponsors, more labs, innovation centers. 2 years ago, when I was in Amsterdam in the legal conference, we got to receive a presentation from a global law firm. They created a lab for legal tech where they share their experience with tech companies. So they hire, they don't just hire experts, but they also, they work like an innovation center. So they invite tech companies, startups, they invest in them, they give them trainings, etc. I think that is very valuable. I think we lawyers and law offices should invest more, not just money, but with experience and knowledge in legal tech. That's how we can improve in Turkey as well.
Yeah, fair points. Thanks. I think the startups will be happy to hear that too.
Yeah.
And one quick question and the last question to Ben. I really want to hear the answer to this question. So did you need a culture change project in your organization for employees to buy in to the innovation agenda, or did a push for innovation happen at the grassroots? How did it happen?
It's a good question. I mean, I feel privileged to be in an organization where I think innovation is what we do to some extent. So short answer is no, not really a culture change. I mean, the legal organization is part of the wider org. We are there to fundamentally support them and allow them to deliver the best possible product. And so I think it's been, well, from my perspective at least, fairly natural for the legal org to be open to trying new things, to innovative processes, just because, well, out of culture, company-wide, and to some extent out of necessity, to constantly function and being able to grow with the wider organization and serve their needs, which are constantly growing. But I'll come back. I mean, to concrete points on that. I also think we've had a lot of support in legal constantly, which is great. As I mentioned, the structured innovation is fantastic. Dedicated company-wide periods where you have the opportunity to turn your ideas into reality. And then we have actually, I'm thrilled to join today. We have also actually actively try to take part of initiatives. I wouldn't say as good as this one, but similar to this one, and also really good. So for example, Laws Without Walls, which fundamentally allows law students to, during a specific period of time, innovate in the legal area, broadly speaking, and then being mentored by professionals from large corporates, from law firms, etc. And then spend time. It's fundamentally driven by the University of Miami and Harvard, and I think that's been a really great experience. So yeah.
Great. It's really always impressive to hear real life stories. And thank you both for sharing your thoughts and experiences with us today.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and Ben.
Thanks so much. And nice to meet you, Guncha, as well.
Nice to meet you too.
And thank you all for listening to us until the end. Kaan,
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Eli, for the great moderation, and Gunja and Benjamin about their how they are doing it in their companies, and personally how they are looking for legal tech and upcoming innovations. I'm sure that a lot of startups that are listening to us will want to connect with you, and I think we already shared your LinkedIn information. Maybe you can receive some questions over there. And also, Benjamin, Matt actually asked you a question. Maybe you can go into Q&A session and just type something to respond to him. I'm sure that you can see it. Then I will move to the final part of the day. I know it's been quite tough. We are trying to make it as quick as possible, but this is the last part that we are going to go. And this is the part of the winners. And today we have 2 slots. As I mentioned, we are not here to say that which startup is good, which startup is bad. Honestly, everything that we've seen today is quite strong. They already have clients, so even my puny opinion doesn't really matter anything, but we want to crown some people so they can maybe tell in their next decks when they are pitching to investors or clients. So the second place is going to Easy Send, and congratulations. And the first place that we have today is going to HUGO.Legal. Thank you, everyone. And sorry for the loud noises. Welcome, Arthur, and maybe we can have some people from Easy Send as well. Hi, Till. Hi, Arthur.
Hey, how are you doing?
And
hey.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Very excited.
Wonderful. Quite impressive products, great things. I hope you also met with people who are relevant for you today. I hope that reInvent, Baker McKinsey, and our partners like ING, Spotify would be interested in meeting with you guys. Also, all of the panelists and founders, if you want, I will just drop down the presentation. Yoni, if you want to say a few things, maybe we can have everyone on stage and close the event in 2 minutes.
I want to thank every startup who presented today here, and all the panelists and everyone who helped to organize this event. So I think it was a great pleasure for me. It was a very exciting event for me. So I hope that it was same for you as well.
Yep.
And please go ahead.
Thank you. So first to the LegalTech startups, I've been in the world for 4 years, so I know it's kind of like, if you look at like legal tech and fintech, then people and investors are more see fintech as more sexy. Well, this is going to reverse over the next decade. So legal tech will be very sexy industry for investors to invest as well. So keep up the good work. And to Baker McKenzie, thank you for the award. I mean, it's very interesting. I had no expectations because we're like not doing some infrastructure system for big law firms or big law. We're mainly to make access to justice possible, but this is a big appreciation for our work. So thank you. I'm very, very generous from you. Thank you.
Thank God.
Thank you very much. Till, would you like to say a few things as well?
Just a big thank you to the organizers, to Baker McKenzie, to everybody that was able to pull this off. A very exciting format as well, and great recognition for us to be seen as a potential within the legal tech sector. And thanks again.
Sounds good. I mean, I also want to personally thank Baker McKenzie, Esin Legal, Yoni, Danielle, reInvent, because we are really happy to bring companies who are looking for next innovation. And it's always really welcoming on your side. And I'm quite happy to meet all of the founders and the teams. It was quite hard work, and we will try to do best to spread what you guys already have. I hope that we can help you in a small or big way. We are always quite happy to host all of you. You are always Hackquarters family. Just check whatever we can offer you, and we will try to make it happen. Thank you for everyone who tuned in today, roughly 200 people. I'm sure that more people will watch after we publish this video over. So without further ado, maybe see you next year with your successful best cases, and hope to host you on the stage again. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Happy New Year to everyone. Happy Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Take care, guys.
Happy Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you then. Bye-bye.